Hi, and welcome to the Good Goobyes Funeral Myth-Busting podcast. On the show, you will hear us, your hosts, Simon, a funeral director, and Tina, an independent celebrant, chat about all things funerals, death, and dying to help you navigate the planning of your good goodbye for yourself or the people in your lives.
Sometimes we have funeral industry guests, and sometimes we just chat through funerals, death, and dying. We do this with kindness and sometimes humour. We're based in Devon in the UK, and we hope you enjoy the show ahead. Hello, this is Tina from Good Goobyes, and I have a guest with me today. I have Monika from Digital Gravestones, but she also does some work with pets. And today's conversation is all going to be about pet loss and pet remembrance. So, Monika, it's lovely to have you back. How are you, and why are we talking about pets today?
Hi, Tina. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for having me again. I'm feeling very good. Thank you. And yeah, we're gonna talk about pets because obviously pets are as important as people for some people. And I'm a big pet lover, so I felt that pets deserve the same honor and memory as people. So I created Pet Legacy, and as you mentioned before, I've got also digital gravestones.co.uk, so I can copy some of the elements and adapt. I'm also a counselor in training, so I'm trying to help people to go through the grief. And I'm always thinking, what can I do to help them and help myself as well? Because I lost my very first dog in 2011. She had a lovely life. She was 11 when she passed away. And I still remember her, and sometimes I'm very sad. So I totally understand other people when they grieve. So yes, here I am.
And it's so interesting, isn't it? I was thinking about the starting point for those of us who have pets and know people that love their pets dearly, and why are we so very attached to these animals? And there's lots of science behind it. So the reason that we absolutely adore our animals apparently is because they're very non-judgmental and they give us unconditional love. It doesn't matter what kind of day they've had. The minute we arrive, they just love us unconditionally, which I thought was quite interesting. And also explains why, in a way, you feel the loss of that little heartbeat in the house so much, because their presence was often very physical. So often we touch our pets a lot. We have them on our laps, or they jump up us, or whatever way we engage with our pets, and it releases oxytocin in our brains. And so actually, the science about that and how your heartbeat and your blood pressure does change when you're, petting a pet. And you can imagine then, if you don't have that anymore in your life, it can feel quite a big loss, really. What was your dog
totally
called?
Understand. Yes, it was Mimi. She was a poodle, and it was quite a sad story on one hand, but she had a great life. She was 18 when she had to cross the Rainbow Bridge, and I was a student at that time. She was living with my mum and dad, and I haven't seen her for 2 years because I couldn't go back home. And when I was due to fly back home for short holidays, she was very unwell. She couldn't even lift her head up, She was quite unwell for a long time. She didn't have energy to walk and so on. But that very day, just before I arrived, she had no energy at all. And obviously, pet advised to help her to cross the Rainbow Bridge. And my mom asked me whether I wanted them to wait for me or, just help her at that time. And obviously, I really wanted to see her and say goodbye, but I just couldn't, make her to suffer any longer. So when I went back for holidays, she wasn't with us anymore, but we buried her at the cemetery, pet cemetery. At that time, it was something unusual. She was waiting for me in that cardboard box covered with blankets, and we had a a mini funeral. She had her own grave, and having that place helped me and my siblings and my parents as well to deal with the grief. So yeah,
and it's
and
so it's 18 years is a long time, isn't it, to have a little creature in our lives?
yes,
Actually, she sounds cute.
yes, she was very cute, and she was our companion through when we were growing up, because we were quite wee when we got her, and it was really sad. And every time I'm going back home, I've got the feeling that I'm going to see her.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain that, but yes,
I
that's
can
what it
imagine, because you
was.
associate her with home, and many of us do, don't we? And I used to, in our family home, my mum liked cats. I'm not such a fan of cats. I'm a bit more of a, as they say, dog person. But my mum had cats, and one of the cats was very possessive about a certain chair in our front room. And so when it died, after a long and happy life, I think, for ages, none of us would sit on this chair because it was as if,
Oh,
we were sitting on the cat's chair. So yeah, Major's chair. So that was a funny feeling. But yeah, I think that there are lots of reasons why pet loss feels really difficult for people, and they don't know what to do with it. And we lost a dog. It was a rescue dog, and it hadn't actually been in our lives very long when we rescued it. I think he was an older dog anyway, although no one knew his age for sure. And he came to live with us, and then my daughter got very attached to him really quickly. He was called Monty, and unfortunately he took a little tumble down the stairs. He hurt his back, and he was never could fully get better. And the vet said, it's not, is it kind for a dog to live a life like this? And we concluded it wasn't really. And he was uncomfortable, so yeah, we let him go, and eventually took his ashes up to Dartmoor, which is near where we live, and sprinkled him up there, which was, on a place called Hound Tor, funnily enough. And it's a place that, he used to love romping around. And so whenever we go there, we always take a dog bone, pop it on the little, rock that he was sprinkled from. And often when we want to remember him, we go for a walk there. So for me, I can really understand it for people. So what do you find people do for their pet remembrance then?
usually they, I believe, collect photos and, go through the photos on their phone. Usually it's the digital form nowadays. Sometimes some of them have an album. I remember a story of a family with young children. They lost a dog, and they loved him very much. So what helped them a little bit to have like a big size workbook where they were writing their feelings when they had a miss you moment. And then sometimes they would draw something or glue some photos, and then after some time there were few stories in that workbook, so they could read it out loud as a family as well, and that helped them a little bit as well.
I love that idea, that especially to help children, is when you have that miss you moment. I was speaking to someone who's an author of books for pet loss, and I'll pop that episode's link in here for everyone. And she was saying that her dog collected tennis balls, even when it was walking. If it wasn't its own tennis ball, it would appear with one. And so they had lots and lots of these. And when their dog died, she put a basket of these tennis balls by their door and said, if you're walking by and you have a dog, take one of these in memory of our dog. And she said it just felt like a nice thing to do. And I love that kind of moments of remembering, scrapbook for little ones. That sounds like a really good thing to do, to just allow all that love and remembering to come out.
Yes, that's true. I love the tennis balls for everybody. And some people like journaling. They've got a journal, and they write their thoughts, and they draw as well. It can be like an album too. It can have a different form.
I
I currently
noticed. Yeah, sorry, go on. You carry on.
I currently have a dog as well. I rescue Ellie from Edinburgh Dog and Cat Home. She was 11 months when we adopted her, and now she's 11 years. So I
Oh.
know that soon we'll have to, deal with grief as well. Obviously, I haven't decided yet what we're gonna do after she crosses the Rainbow Bridge. But yeah, I know that will be in the nearest future, maybe as well. So.
Yeah. And some people hang on to their pets, don't they? So they can take them with them. And I've been in situations where pet ashes have been put in a person's coffin so they can go with them. But I noticed that, and talking about what people might do, I noticed that you've got pet remembrance ceremony kits for people. How can that help them if you want to do something at home as a family?
Yes, so I've developed something called the Remembrance Ceremony Kit. It's like a set of printable pages or a printed pack that people can do in the house when they have a moment and time, or alone, or with family or friends. So it helps someone to create a small personal remembrance moment at home. It includes like instructions, prompts, poems, and space to write your own poem, letter to a pet, where you can write it to yourself. And there's also a blank space for photos, keepsakes. You can lit a candle. It can be shared with friends, as I mentioned before, or family. You can use all the cards that are in the pack or just one. It also has like blank space at the back so you can write more of your thoughts. You can do it once or you can do that regularly if you need it. I think it would help
Yeah.
some
Because I
people
think the
with the
idea of a
grief.
kit, it just sounds really special, doesn't it? I was speaking to somebody in our ashes episode. It was about somebody puts them into seed balls. So he runs a company where you can make your own not bird, seed ball to put
Mhm.
in the ground to grow flowers. And that might be a lovely thing to do with a pet in mind, actually. So you can
Oh,
see lots of
mhm.
crossovers, can't you, between things that we might do for our human selves, that we might do for
Yes,
our pets. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And I think sometimes we just need a little bit of guidance because lots of people do um, bury their pets in gardens, don't they? So there are some cemeteries that are
Mhm.
also pet gardens, ashes, sprinkling your pet remains. Yeah, they're all possibilities, aren't they? And I like the idea of journaling to get you a little bit thinking about that pet loss and that grief and what's happening for you. Yeah.
Yes, yes. That's why
Yeah.
I developed also a 12-month journal where people can write their thoughts, but it can also be used as their regular journal with dates and days. It will also have like blank pages with prompts where people can share their favorite moments, they can mark their anniversaries, birthday, I believe it might be difficult for people grieving, especially around Christmas,
Mm,
or any other anniversaries. So maybe that will be a little bit of help for them,
mm.
especially if somebody likes journaling.
Yeah. And I know because the other thing about pets is that they're such a sort of part of the patterning of our life, aren't they? We often, if it's a pet that needs like cats are a bit, I always think a bit more independent, but you still have to
Uh-huh.
feed them and groom them and take them to the
Yes.
vets, don't you? But dogs are a little bit more dependent actually, and they often are they feature in the way that people live their lives, don't they? Like going for a walk, etc.
Uh-huh.
And I think that can be hard actually. And I once knew a lady, I'm just checking that a lady who worked for something in the UK or volunteered called the Cinnamon Trust. And it's a charity where if you were poorly for a while, maybe you would had an operation or something and you couldn't walk your dog, someone from the Cinnamon Trust could come and walk your dog for you as just for free.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the other thing they do is if you yourself are terminally ill, if you're poorly and you think, well, I'm not going to be able to look after my dog in the years ahead, they will help you rehome your dog. And I knew a situation in which somebody had someone walking their dog who stayed with them to the very end of their life, but they knew when they went that that dog was going to go to the home of the person who was walking the dog. And they got to know one another, and it felt really quite magical, because I suppose that's the other thing about talking about pets and loss, and it's when our pets lose us.
That's true. That's true.
When we are not going to be around anymore for looking after them. And I think it is one of the worries for people, isn't it? What's going to happen to my animals? So yeah, I'll pop a link in for the Cinnamon Trust, because I know they do work in the UK, but I'm sure elsewhere in the world there's similar things, really. Yeah, gets you thinking, doesn't it? Talking about pets and loss. And
Yes, that's true. And when you know what's going to happen with a pet when you're not here anymore, or that maybe gives you some kind of comfort, and you don't worry, obviously, that much. So, yeah.
And pets, of course, take so many forms. I mean, we're talking about the four-legged variety, but you've got horses. I know people who are so attached to their horses, friends of mine in our lives. When my daughter's hamster died, we had to have a little ceremony in the garden. We've had, oh gosh, goldfish, many a goldfish that we've had to take its death very seriously. Yes, especially for children.
Yes, I remember when we buried our Mimi, there were graves of other animals and pets as well, guinea pig, hamster, you mentioned, fish, and you wouldn't think so. But yeah, people grieve in different ways and they love different pets as well.
Yeah, because we don't all like the same animals, as you quite rightly say, do we? No. What's the most unusual pet that you've done anything for, supporting someone with their pet loss?
A snake. So I did a portrait of a snake. The snake is still alive because I do pet portraits for pets that are with us or without us, so it doesn't matter. But it was a snake, and I'm a big snake lover as well. I used to have a snake. She was called Mercedes, but I found her a new owner because I was due a baby, so we didn't have a space for her anymore, unfortunately.
Yes, when I was nursing and I was going into people's own homes to look after them, I did sit down once and think, God, that's an interesting cushion. And it was a snake.
Oh, did you sit on a snake? Oh my goodness.
I didn't sit on it. Thank goodness, Monica. No, I'm glad to tell you I sat next to it. But I remember looking across to it and thinking, what an amazing cushion that, the material. And then when it moved, I was like, oh my goodness me. And the chap was like, I'm so sorry, I never think to tell people. I don't have many people here, and I never think to say that the snake gets to roam around.
Yes.
He was very attached to his snake, that gentleman. Very, very attached to it. Yes. Oh, funny. So is there anything else you'd like to tell us about remembering our animals then?
No, but I would be interested to hear from your listeners what helped them in the past, or currently they're experiencing some kind of grief. What helped them to deal with it if they lost a pet, and they can feel free. Sorry, can I start again?
No. So what? I'm going to ask you that question again. Don't worry. So is there anything else that we could get our listeners to help us with when we're thinking about pet loss? Because I know you're keen on sharing ideas and getting ideas from people, Monika.
Yes, I'm very interested in hearing from your listeners what helped them or is helping them currently to go through pet loss. Because keen to learn from everybody's experience and tailor my services so I can help people better. I also would like to offer free remembrance ceremony kits in PDF format, so people can print them in their houses, or a physical format so I can email them. Sorry, send them in a post. So if
Yeah.
anybody is interested, please email me and I'll send it. I've got limited sets, so yes.
Yes, I will put your email in our show notes so people can get directly to you, Monika, for that lovely offer of yours to help people if they're doing things at home with their pets. And I wish you well with your lovely animals. Is it just the one dog now? Is it in your household?
Just the one dog, yes. I was thinking of the hamsters, but the kids wouldn't probably be able to look after them because they're still too small. But who knows? And I still don't know
Yes.
what I would do when we lose Ellie in the future, because I know some people buy another dog, and that's their way to grieve. Well, having a dog is such a big responsibility as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So I haven't decided, but hopefully I will not have to decide in the nearest future.
In the near future. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure talking
Thank you
about
very much,
animals
Tina.
with you. And take care. Thank you so much,
Thank
Monika.
you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Good Goodbyes. We hope you found it helpful and informative. Please do leave us feedback, other topic suggestions, and subscribe for a regular listen and like and share if it all helps the show.
We're always interested to know what topics you like us to talk about, so do reach out to us if you have any ideas. If any topic leaves you thinking you need additional help or support, please do seek out professional advice. Take care and be kind to one another.